Live at Onigashima. I'm Jimmy.
And I'm Anthony, and today we're talking about chapter 1134, the Owl Library. We got some crazy stuff in this chapter. As always, Oda always delivers right before the holidays. Let's talk about this color spread real quick. We got Frankie Bot over here. Little ode
nice note to the voice actor retiring. Yeah. I love this color spread though, just seeing all of them. We've had some like this before, like beach vibes where they all have like water guns. I like that they put Robin in her Ennis Lobby boots again, just like when we met her, and the whole like connection with Saul in last chapter in this one. So overall, very good cover art. I like this one a lot.
Very pretty. But we gotta jump straight to the end for this one because there's like so much speculation going around. We got Shanks!
Shanks is with the government!
Maybe.
Is it though? So I think, yeah, a great place to start is with the Shanks because that's what everyone's going to be talking about for these next few weeks, right? Dude. This is the exact same panel we basically got in the Reverie where we see half of quote-unquote Shanks's face, and I think we've talked about this before, where, and I think you specifically brought it up, where that might not actually be Shanks and it might be like an evil twin or a cousin or something because we don't see any of his defining features.
Right.
And look at that, Oda came here and did it again with him.
This is pretty much Oda like saying it right to our faces, and I think a lot of the community is now saying like, okay, there's something fishy here, you know what I mean? Like we saw Shanks leave Elbaf, first of all, like he left, right? And so then he just randomly, without his crew or anything, just gets summoned with this other new rando, which we'll talk about that person, whoever she is or whoever they are. Like
lots of theories going around about that one too.
Lots of theories, yeah. But let's stick on Shanks for a second. So like Shanks, the whole thing is that like, you know, obviously he has a scar on his left eye from Blackbeard, and here and in the Reverie, like you said, like they're not showing it. And we see the demon circle, he gets summoned. So like it seems like this person, who, if this is Shanks or not, is more connected to the celestial dragons or something. So like that's where all the theories about maybe Shanks's brother or whatever. And obviously we have like Garling, who looks very much like Shanks when he's younger, and we thought was gonna have red hair. It turns out he has blonde hair or whatever, but you know, that's neither here nor there. But they're both Figureland, you know. We still know that Shanks is a Figureland, so like clearly there's some connection here. So it wouldn't be a stretch of the imagination to think that this is somebody in Shanks's family.
Yeah, I mean that's what I think everyone's thinking, and I kind of agree with it. It's probably like a brother of Shanks, twin maybe. Like he looks so much alike. Like you might as well throw in the twin one there. But I wanted to bring up the summoning circle again because this is the same kind of circle that we saw with the Gorosei, and we all assumed at the time that this was something that Gorosei were doing, and for them it was numbered. There was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but this one isn't numbered. So
true, yeah.
I think this is actually Imu's powers, and we've talked about this before also, where Imu's kind of giving people powers and summoning people to these places. And if just so many different people can use these summoning circles, like even these two randoms, which I think are part of the Gods Knights, by the way.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think that Imu can basically summon people anywhere, and if he could summon people anywhere like this, I don't understand why he doesn't do it like more often to stop stuff. Like why not summon somebody to Ohara instead of trying to do the whole battleship thing?
Well,
right?
There's an interesting, because I think there's like two maybe potential explanations for that. One is that, you know, he probably doesn't want to be like spamming this power all over the place because, I mean, yeah, Ohara I guess would be a good example because if they were gonna kill them all anyways, then like maybe nothing left behind if like a summoning circle happens. Because like when they do it on Egghead, right, the idea is like, hey, no more screwing around, like we got to take everybody out, no witnesses, no nothing, all the Gorosei come, right? Here, another reason why they could have done it specifically, you notice they summoned into the royal castle here, so it's like maybe it has to do with Elbaf having some sort of secret allegiance with the world government or something like that. I don't know, like I'm just trying to wrap my head around exactly like why, like you're saying, like I don't really have the answer, but it's interesting to see like the kind of paneling around this and like why they got summoned to specifically there. Like, do you think that anybody else is gonna be at this castle? I would imagine so, right? Like, why there?
I mean, I know some people were saying like, oh, did it happen like while this party's going on, are people in this castle partying, or are people just out in the village partying too? And I think maybe a little bit of both.
Yeah.
Or is this castle abandoned? Because we saw earlier in the chapter that like nobody has taken the throne since whatever his face, the old
and
king,
it does
was killed
look
by
like
Loki.
ruins, like in the background, like everything looks like messed up. You know what I mean? Like in this big panel.
Yeah.
Like the throne is like has a big slash on it, which is also interesting because like this might have been the place where Loki and his father like had their battle or whatever. Like that might be relics of that. I just really quick before we get off of this Shanks thing, I have one more theory that I kind of came up with that I think might be a good third option as to who this is, right? So earlier in the chapter, we get a lot of stuff from Lilith being like, hey, I have a clone. So that kind of makes me think, since this was in the same chapter, that maybe this is Shanks' clone, and that's not too far.
Oh no, we're in clone piece again.
I'm just saying, you know, it's the same chapter. They've talked about it a lot. Clones are now pretty well established at this point, and this looks exactly like Shanks,
So,
like same
I mean,
exact thing.
it could be like, we know that's a thing, and that's like the issue of introducing cloning into your story, right? Is like anyone who looks like this character can be that character, like verbatim, right? Which then begs to differ: are all of the God's Knights just clones of powerful people over time?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think we're gonna see like a Whitebeard clone, which we kind of did with Weevil, except he looks like kind of a mistake one? Maybe we see a Goldie Roger one at some point, because they should have his DNA because he was captured, quote unquote, let himself get captured.
Yeah, well, this other this other
I was gonna say this
person-
other girl's probably a clone here too.
It could be,
this
you
one
know.
that we don't know who it is. Looks like Sheik from Zelda to me, honestly.
That's what
so
I
who
thought too,
knows?
dude. Yeah. A lot of people were saying Ginny potentially, like a Ginny clone or something.
I could see that
Kind of
happening
has the
too.
hair. I don't think Ginny had like the under eyelash thing, but you know, it could be just like a drawing close up thing.
Yeah.
Could be Sanji's
Kuina
mom.
is the other one I've seen three people throw out.
Yeah, dude. Like, there's a lot of dead people.
I mean, could they
could
potentially
be
have a
coming
Big
back.
Mom clone? To be honest,
You think that's
like,
a big...
I mean, in Big Mom, we know when she was younger, used to also be skinny, so she could be like this. They did have access to her DNA through like Mother Carmel, so like it honestly can be anybody, which is I think kind of the rabbit hole you go down when you start thinking about clone piece and what the world government has access to. So I'm really excited to see more information about this.
It's Stussy
Either
too,
way,
bro.
it looks like these people have Conqueror's hockey. I don't know if this is just from the Summoning Circle, but we see the Black Lightning coming up. I don't know.
I don't think so, dude.
It
I think the Black
It
Lightning.
could be Emu's.
That
hockey,
yes,
like, the circle.
that maybe. I don't think we can just say like these guys have Conqueror's hockey just from that, because that's what happened for every summoning circle, right? So like,
Yeah, but also all of them had Conqueror's hockey also.
yeah, I mean, I guess,
So, like,
yeah,
it's really up in the air. We don't have anything definitive right now.
It's true, it's true.
But yeah, going back to the rest of the chapter was still really good also, even though that was the big reveal at the end. I love how it started out with Luffy mimicking Jinbei. I caught that like immediately, and I thought that was so cool, and I know a lot of other people saw it too. And then people was like, who did you learn that from? He's like, I have no idea.
He's like, nobody.
He's like, nothing, it just came to my mind. I'm just a plagiarizer at heart.
Oh my God. Yeah, dude. Luffy just be copying stuff, and he doesn't even know where he gets it, bro. He's being influenced. He doesn't even know it. Yeah, it was
so
cute.
easily.
It was cute to see, you know, like him start to talk to Saul and be like, "Hey, I'm Luffy. Yeah, I'm the one that saved her. Like, we're here. We're good." And then they get into this like owl library after the whole Vega Punk situation. Obviously, like, you know, this was a little weird. I want to talk about this a little more. Like, I don't know how into the idea of like Vegapunk just having clones of himself is. I mean, like,
we kind of said this anyways.
It makes sense, but like
when he was leaving and Lilith was alive, I was like, why can't Vegapunk just rebuild himself? And clearly that's what's happening here.
Yeah.
So like, this to me is not like one of those situations like, oh, but you killed off this character, why are you now bringing them back? Like, I feel like this was always a logical conclusion. If you weren't going to kill all of the Vegapunks, I feel like there was always a way to get the original one back.
I agree,
What I
especially
did like
being the
about
smartest
this-
man in the world, you know what I mean?
Exactly, right? What I did like about this, though, is that they are going to fix Kuma, which I like and dislike. I like because I'm really happy for Bonnie. I really think she should have her dad back.
Yeah.
But also, like, I don't know what Kuma's story is gonna be from here on out. I feel like his story is kind of done and dusted.
Kind of wrapped
So
up.
if they do fix it, like, what's their purpose?
Yeah, it's kind of just
But
like
what
a
I do
happily
think
ever
is-
after, I guess. But it's like, I don't know.
Exactly,
Man.
and that's what I was gonna say is I think this basically concludes that Bonnie's definitely not joining the crew, right?
I think so
because
too,
if
yeah.
Kuma is like, our theory before was always where else can she go? Because Vegapunk was dead, Kuma we thought was going to die, so we were like she has to join the Straw Hats. But clearly now Kuma's going to be alive, like he's gonna get fixed.
Yeah, and Vegapunk
So,
is like alive too, so like she has family in multiple places. Like Vegapunk is kind of her family as well, you know.
Yeah.
So I think Bonnie, yeah, sorry, not
Very
enjoying
happy
it.
for Bonnie.
I'm gonna be like extremely skeptic of every. I know that we like each arc we're like, oh my god, Carrot's joining the Straw Hats, Yamato's joining the Straw Hats, Bonnie's joining the Straw Hats.
I said this at the time to
Who
be
knows,
fair.
man? I know,
When we were
yeah, I
talking
know.
about it, I was like, we say this every arc. Everyone
know.
says everyone's gonna join.
I know it's true, but now like you gotta be like hyper skeptical of everything. Like
I mean,
really
people
at
are
this
already
point,
saying, "Oh, is Loki gonna join the crew?"
nah, no way, dude. There can't be more conquerors on the crew. That's the thing. That's in my opinion. Like if they didn't let Yamato join, there's no way Loki's joining. And the other thing is that I think I'm still the last crew member that I am still holding on to is Vivi.
Vivi,
But-
it has to be Vivi,
right.
I think everyone just like my thing is though, I don't consider Vivi needs to join the crew. Vivi's already a part of the crew in my
True,
eyes.
yeah. Well, but
No.
the thing is, like, she's set to come back at some point, like,
Yeah.
with all this emu stuff happening. And, like, I think we all know that, like, at the end of the day, she's probably going to split off from the Straw Hats. Maybe she'll be there at Laugh Tale. Who knows? It would be nice for...
I feel like she has to be.
Yeah, it'd be cool. But, like, I think that she's going to end up going back to Alabasta to rule the nation after it's, like, restructured or whatever. But another thing with this is, like... I think there was a long-standing theory that Kuma's fruit after he died would like go to Vivi because a lot of people thought that like Lily maybe spread the poneglyphs with the pawpaw fruit in the past, and maybe it'd be like a nice, you know, if Vivi got it.
Now that he's alive, he's
but
not
he's
gonna
alive,
lose his fruit.
right? Exactly. So it's like, okay, well maybe that's just like not gonna happen. So, you know, whatever. Like it doesn't need to happen. I know a lot of people think like Lily maybe is emu or like it's like a whole different direction with this thing. So this just kind of kills a little bit more of like whatever we thought was gonna happen with the pawpaw fruit going forward.
Or is it a misdirect from Oda?
Could be.
Is he still going to kill off Kuma just in a different sense so we get the fruit?
Yeah, what if this is like
I feel like that would be so messed up.
This is the fake out, and then the clone Shanks comes and
We've had fake out deaths, now we have fake out lives.
Oh man, dude. That'd be
That'd be
sad,
wild.
bro, for Kuma especially.
No, I think that would be so messed up.
I don't know. I think we are setting up some kind of tragedy though at the end of the chapter. You know what I mean? Like everybody's all happy, great. We're on Elbaf, everything's cool, reunion, God's Knights, or like whoever these guys are, right? Like clearly with connection to Emu. But
Well, one of the connections I wanted to talk about also is who Loki's talking to in the transponder snail.
yeah,
To me, it looks like I forgot which. I think it's Mars, but the snail kind of looks like Mars with that kind of like big like long beard and that mustache that like
True.
droops downward. So I wonder if he's talking to like them, and if so, like how do they know Loki? Like would they have been here before? Can they only go to places with the summoning circles that they've been to before? Like that's why they were able to go to Egghead because Saturn was there. And then they've been here before, so they can summon it here.
could be.
Like, I wonder what Loki's connection with these people are. And it clearly has to be, like, the world government in some aspect, right? Otherwise, I don't know, because they got summoned at the end. And we got to assume that's part of what Loki's talking to this person about also. Like, I don't think these two events are unrelated to each other.
It's true, yeah.
So-
It's right back to back. It could be. I mean, I personally think that like Mars and the rest of the Gorosei kind of have like different talking patterns. Like I don't think that like I don't know.
That was
maybe-
the other part, right? Like, the snail kind of looked like it to me, but the way he was talking didn't feel like a Gorosei to me.
Yeah.
So
and
I don't know.
He's being very candid with Loki too. And like another thing with this conversation that we did all theorize is that Loki might be a good guy because he's like, oh my god, Loki, like you're so kind. I mean, it could be a misdirect. Like if it is like one of the Gorosei and he's calling somebody else kind, then it's like, okay, what is his
It's like,
idea
does
of
that-
kind? It's like But if it's
when you're
not,
the literal worst people in the world and you call somebody kind, you probably mean they like slam somebody's head in the ground still, but let them
like,
live.
oh my god. Yeah. But if it's not, then it's like, okay, maybe Loki had a good reason for killing his dad. Maybe
that's what I've heard a lot
maybe
about
his
this
dad
chapter,
was
too.
like in cahoots with the world government or something, and that's why these like God's Knights appeared at the castle, because like they had been there before for like that reason, you know what I mean? Because they were like attached to Loki's dad or whatever.
True. And that's one thing that's also weird about this chapter is they talk about it, how they're like Usopp is like, oh, but this is like the warmongering country of the giants, like you guys are supposed to be training to be vicious warriors, and they're like, oh, actually we don't really do that anymore, we're like becoming more scholarly, like we're less about the fighting, and it's something the new king tried to change. And I wonder why they tried to change. That seems to me like it's government influenced, because the giants were so powerful that they couldn't take them down by brute force. They had to go down this route of being like, hey, don't you guys want to be peaceful, hint hint, like it'll be better for everybody, we want to create peace, not war, type thing. And they're kind of manipulating the giants in that sense, and Loki may have been the one to kind of realize this and is actually trying to bring his clan back to like its former glory, which honestly does mimic the thing we saw with kind of Zoro at the beginning. Like people said this when we first saw Loki, he was chained up like Zoro was when we first met him, and he's made to look like the bad guy when you first see him, but maybe he's not actually, and it's just like the illusion that he's a bad guy.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm gonna do it again. Loki for Straw Hat. He's coming, guys.
Yeah, so one last thing about this chapter before we like close out here. I wanted to talk a little bit about the library. I mean, it's the name of the chapter, so we got to get into it a little bit. I really like this whole setting, and I think that it's gonna be pretty valuable for Robin to be here. I think this might be like where Robin ends up, like after, like when the story's over. You know what I mean?
I mean, it would make sense, right? She gets to be with Saul. She gets to be in literally the biggest library in the world, like physically biggest. Which I thought was a cool aspect about the library too, is that the books grow in size. It just kind of adds to that magical aspect that we've seen throughout all of Elbaf so far. And I'm just so curious of like, how did they even like get this to happen? Like, how did these books just grow like that?
Yeah,
but I'm sure there's going to be so much knowledge here that they're going to be able to find out and use along the way.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know like how this is gonna attribute, and like I feel like Robin will stay here for a little while during this arc with Saul, and then maybe they could even have a poneglyph here, you know what I mean? Like we were saying that last chapter. We'll see how it goes, but it'll be interesting. I'm kind of interested as to like why everything happens the way it happens in this chapter, like the clones, the library, the conversation with Loki, Shanks coming in, and like, or not Shanks coming in. It's gotta all tie together at some point. Like I don't know where these puzzle pieces are gonna land, but it feels like Oda's setting up a puzzle for us to solve and is laying the clues pretty early. So last chapter of the year, right? So, like,
yeah, supposedly. I mean, technically it is the official last chapter. I just always know, usually around like New Year's and stuff, the chapter that comes after New Year's usually gets published unofficially later. So we'll see how that goes this year. But yeah, overall, great chapter to end it on the year. Fantastic. 2024 was a great year for One Piece overall. Maybe not as many number of chapters, but every chapter was so good this year.
Yeah, dude, and we're, I mean, I'll say it again, we're finally in Elbaf.
We're finally in Elbaf. But yeah, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and let us know your theories about Evil Shanks in the comment section.
Yeah, Evil Shanks, clone Shanks, brother Shanks, who knows?
Actual Shanks?
Yeah, what if this is really actually Shanks? Who knows? Let us know what you guys are thinking in the comments, and until next time,
peace out.